She's not conscious or breathing.
Listen carefully. I'm going to tell you how to do chest compressions. You're going to go at this speed. 1, 2.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, baby. 2, 3, 4. 1. Come on, Jimmy, please.
Vegas is the perfect town for a reality series.
Our series, Gigolos, took over Vegas. We were like the fucking rock stars of Vegas.
Gigolos was fun, it was sexy, it was glamorous, it was Vegas on steroids.
Not only were we living this lifestyle that everybody is coming here to pay for, we're getting paid to do it.
They owned the town. They were treated like rock stars.
Cheers, guys.
I mean, that's just the truth. I'm just telling you the truth.
It's awesome.
Sex is the most important part of life. Without sex, there is no freaking life.
We always thought one of them would do something stupid. We never thought one of them would be a murderer.
The second you sell your soul, you're paying for it immediately.
When you're on a show like that, especially when the undertone is gigolos, sex for money and stuff, it did come at a price. I'll be good in a minute.
"911 emergency."
Please, anybody in here, sound up now!
It's gonna sound just insane, because it is insane.
Yeah, look at it. It's all dripping blood everywhere.
There was a struggle. I really lost my mind.
Fame fucks with you. Fame does something to you. And some people who cannot handle that sometimes snap.
Put on the ground. I love being a gigolo, but what the fuck did I get myself into?
I'm Detective Jared Grimmett. I'm a homicide detective, and I was the primary detective responsible for the investigation involved in this particular incident. Working homicide for the past 8 years, it can be trying. You see the worst of the worst. You never respond to a happy call, right?
"911 emergency." Do you need police, fire, or medical?
I need police.
You have a male calling in, reporting the incident. For whatever circumstances, the first thing that comes to mind is this a domestic type of situation? I mean, the fact that he called 911 himself and reported the crime kind of alleviated any thoughts of it being suspicious in nature. We had no idea going into the investigation that he had any connection with any type of reality TV series.
Okay, all right. And then which side are you gonna be sitting on?
I was gonna be sitting on that side, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't matter, I'll sit.
Do you guys have a preference on sides?
Nope. Too late to back out. Your body language is like, please don't look at me.
My name's Jay Blumenfield. I am a television producer.
I'm Tony Marsh, television producer, Jay's partner in crime. Probably should have said partner in crime.
Television-wise, we've always tried to follow our guts into places that we find interesting. And so we had heard about some male escorts that were working with female clients, which sounded interesting because I'd heard of female escorts and I'd heard of sort of gay male escorts. Hadn't really heard of the Richard Gere kind of American Gigolo thing. And we'd heard rumors of this happening in Vegas.
Sometimes when you find something that is so compelling, so captivating, when it's real, you can't believe it. And this is one of those things. So I think we knew right away, like, holy shit, this is fascinating. This is incredible. And we have to start getting a cast together and go pitch this.
We started meeting with some of the guys that were doing this. And so that's how we came to be able to make a show about this.
And eventually we landed on a cast and we pitched it to Showtime.
We also realized there was a lot of absurdity about the idea of these guys who were supposed to be God's gift to women, but they were kind of idiots. They were also kind of douchebags, and that juxtaposition was really interesting.
My name is Reverend Dr. Nick Eagle, formerly Nick Hawk. And that is how most people know me. Satnam. In the beginning of the show, I took on way more clients than I probably should have. But as the show went on, my prices went up, the bookings were longer, and I got to select which clients I would see as well. But I've never been a sex worker.
If you're making television, you want a Nick on your show because you never know what you're gonna get. He can be a total dickhead.
Next thing I want to do is launch a Nick Hawk sex toy novelty line, so I can sell Nick Hawk dildos in sex shops across the world.
You watched 50 episodes, you're well aware of how much I got shit on. She's smiling and laughing, Jay.
Brace is a gentleman who has a very distinctive hair color, skin color.
I've never spray tanned in my life, I swear to God. She's coming under there, she's going up and down and up and down. And
Brace was orange before orange was a thing.
my name's Matt. But everybody in this whole fucking world of gigolos knows me as Brace. Don't break the chain.
So I'm just being real. You know, I'm not politically correct, I'm just correct.
Brace and I were probably the two closest people out of all the relationships throughout all the seasons. And a lot of people tuned in to see the interaction between us.
Go on.
Oh my God, I can't
Let me buy you a drink, Brace.
Oh my
Come on.
Are you kidding me?
We played off each other very well, and we made a lot of entertaining film. That's for sure.
I think he thought that he was a A-list actor, and that gave him the right to just be a prick to everybody.
I'm a dumbass. I should have never pushed him. Sometimes I forget how old he is and how fragile he is.
I don't know if I felt like I was a star, like a TV actor or a movie star, but I felt like the man, that's for sure.
Nick did not handle fame well. He mistreated everybody.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I had a person with a friend of mine over.
Are you calling for her or yourself?
No, I'm calling for her.
I'm Bradley. It's been a minute for that one.
You haven't said your name in a while.
Oh, not that name. You know, I never went by it anyway, though. I went by, I meet people, I went by Sean.
It's really hard to understand him when he speaks, especially if he's had a drink or two. I think we called him Mumbles for a reason.
It was funny, and Garen's like, just be nice to him. They put on the safer and long. I'm like, okay.
He's from Tennessee. He kind of, you know, had to looks a little bit like Howdy Doody. He had that little gap between his, they look just like that Howdy Doody guy.
He's crazy as shit.
Bradley was in the military. I believe he was in the Marines.
Oh, holy shit.
I go wearing from Southern church boy to Marines to Gigolo.
Just a really solid guy, cared a lot about his country, cared a lot about his friends.
You'd be surprised how one really positive experience can affect someone.
My name is Vin Armani. I'm 32 years old. I really love women. Learning about them, learning what makes them tick, that's got to be the best part of being a gigolo. There's nothing better than that.
Vin was the smartest of the whole group, I think.
Vin would always tell me he saw himself as an alpha male sex god.
Being romantic is different for every woman, and getting the vibe of what a woman wants is part of the art of a gigolo.
That's your job. And I told Vin that. I'm like, if you're not down with performing and entertaining, get the fuck out. And that's what I told him.
I have to have the greatest job in the world. Monogamy is not for me.
You love my shit, don't you?
I feel like we did a lot of good in changing people's attitudes about sex, and we didn't do anything illegal on the show, but I think those guys had trouble realizing the difference.
Okay, all right. Can you tell me what's going on there?
Okay, forgot what to say. There was a struggle. I basically, I just see scenes on concerts.
We were introduced to Ash. I believe he came from Miami or someplace in Florida, and we met him. And then Jay drooled the whole meeting.
All right, Ash, get that hair flowing.
He's the Indian Fabio. He's a beautiful man. He should be on the cover of many romance novels.
Great abs.
Great abs.
Good pecs.
Sweet pecs.
I got my own gym right now. My whole angle is training specifically for stuff that directly translate into the bedroom.
So that in and of itself was a reason to put Ash on the show, because he had such a great look. He's into more spiritual practices. So that sort of differentiated him from the other guys.
I was voting against you. I was voting against you in the beginning, before I met you.
Motherfucker.
I felt Ash had a good look, and there was much to explore there.
I like waking up, meditating. I really see it almost as a tantric practice. And I think that's why I am the best gigolo.
I explained to him that we're doing a reality show and they're gonna clown us, and they do not have your back, but I do.
Not from my perspective. Nick had problems with Vin. Nick had problems with Bradley. Nick had problems with Ash. And Nick had problems with everybody because Nick was very hard to get along with.
A sense of humor? What's a sense of humor?
She's not conscious or breathing, so I need somebody here ASAP. I think realistically, I don't think she's really here anymore.
All right. You'll get some help there, okay? And I'm going to help you.
Yes, please, ASAP.
So have a seat. My name is Joyce Lupiani. I have been a journalist for about 30 years, 27 of those years here in Las Vegas. I've written a lot about Las Vegas, the nightlife, entertainment, but I've definitely written a lot about crime. Las Vegas is a don't ask, don't tell type of place. Got an ex and kids, don't tell. Criminal record, don't tell. Selling sex for money, well, definitely don't tell anybody about that.
Well, sex work is illegal in Vegas. There are a lot of restrictions and decency laws that are in place. Are those enforced? There's a gray area. And certainly what we were doing, a show about male escorts, falls into that gray area.
The sheriff's department was not happy with the show and made some threatening remarks about arresting all of us. We made a fun show about prostitution in Vegas, and they all had a little egg on their face. I'm sure if you're a cop in Vegas and there's a show about prostitution, your boss is yelling at you.
It's about entertaining, and it's about making them smile, making them laugh, touching their back, touching their hand, And then the next thing you know, they're sleeping and you slither out the back door.
And obviously in this town, nobody really cared about it at all. I mean, everybody thought it was so cool.
And the formula worked because in Vegas, these guys were stars. The show sort of permeated the culture in a way where everybody would go and get drunk and watch gigolos. It was in that movie Tully, and Charlize Theron is a single mom at home and she's watching gigolos.
What's this? It's a reality TV show called Gigolos.
And I think for those guys to see conversations about themselves online started to get in their heads. And they started to think, oh my God, the whole world's talking about me. Oh my God, everybody in the world knows who I am.
Regular people aren't set up to be famous. Fame fucks with you. Fame does something to you. A little bit of fame in a small town like Las Vegas, whenever you step out of your house, you're special. You're unique. You've got something that other people don't have.
And on this show, you're famous for fucking. And so that's gotta screw with your head.
When you're on a show like that, especially when the undertone is gigolos, sex for money and stuff, you know, it all came at a price. It did come at a price.
The second you sell your soul, you're paying for it immediately.
God, you said body is so cold.
Okay. You said her body is cold?
Yes.
I am sending a paramedic to help you now, okay? Stay on the line to the coming lights and sirens.
It's where that black SUV's at? Okay. It's right up there.
When he made the 911 call, that's what prompted the initial response by the ambulance and the Clark County Fire Department. When they went inside is when they discovered a female in the upstairs bedroom. After looking at her and determining her state is when they determined that this isn't just a medical call or an overdose. There's been physical confrontation or activities. It's happened within this bedroom.
It's like she looks like she has bruising and she's got like some trauma to the front of the face.
Bruising under her eyes or something?
It looks like she had two black eyes.
That's what prompted the officers to make entry and confirm themselves that this was definitely a homicide investigation.
Okay.
Get on the ground.
I got hands on.
Crew inside.
Cover me stairs. We have the male detained right now.
So a call comes in from our lieutenant that, hey, we have a homicide. We need you guys to respond. And that's kind of how we ended up out on this particular case.
Hey, what's going on, brother? I'm glad you got here fast. Thank you so much.
As we show up to the scene, the initial information we received during our initial brief is that there's a female down inside the house up on the second/third floor of the residence. And my initial assessment was this must have been some type of husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend type of domestic that went bad.
I don't want to fuck the scene up anymore.
Well, we gotta check.
Las Vegas has had the highest domestic homicide rate for about 15 years. I mean, it happens here all the time. So I'm pretty sure that the police were just like, okay, it's just another boyfriend, girlfriend that got into a fight and it got out of hand and now somebody's dead. They probably didn't think there was anything unusual about it.
I'll get it right now. Hey, brother. What's your last name real quick?
Yeah, K-U.
K-U.
B as in boy.
B.
B-M. I-A-K.
What the fuck, Ash? Ash? Come on, Ash?
I would have thought any of the gigolos, not Ash.
I most definitely wasn't surprised.
Makes no sense. You're probably confused too, like how this fucking happened. What? Why?
Gomez, take him out to your car, please.
Gonna do another little pat down on you, okay? I'll help you out.
Las Vegas is not that big of a town, and everybody knows everybody. So something like this was definitely going to get out fast. You've got someone famous that people recognize, they know his name, and now he's been arrested for murder. So obviously, the media is going to be all over that because the public wants to know.
There's a lot of pros about this job, but there is a lot of difficulties. I do want to put a time limit to how long I'm going to do this.
This particular case, walking into the house, nothing stood out as this was going to be this horrific scene or anything crazy. You know, it was a dead person in the upstairs bedroom is what we knew. It wasn't until you walked into the bedroom that you saw the blood spatter, the trauma that the victim endured during her interaction. It was, to describe it would be, I couldn't do it justice. I mean, you'd have to see the photos. It was unique in the sense that she was severely beaten, almost unrecognizable in some ways. So it seemed to be a little bit of extra, the way she was positioned on the floor, the type of injuries that were visible at the time. It just seemed a little extreme.
Oh, shit. She got all kinds of marks on her face. She took a beating. So, holy shit. Oh, yeah. I'll give everybody rolling.
I mean, this was one of the worst beatings of a person, of a human that I've seen. Well, I mean, it was terrible. It was nothing that somebody should have to endure or see. Really got my mind to thinking, like, what actually happened here, you know?
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
We took mushrooms together last night. We said our prayers together. We put on Avatar together. And I don't know if you've ever done mushrooms before, but I started like, I was no longer like in this reality anymore. I was like in different realities. So I lost my mind.
As we started the scene documentation, we did recover psilocybin is the legal name, but mushrooms is as common folks refer to them. We did find remnants of mushrooms in little baggies throughout the house in a secondary bedroom that was downstairs. There was candle wax in the decedent's hair and on her body, on her person. It's a little bit strange. There was an open suitcase located within the bedroom. Also had candle wax and blood spatter.
There's blood on that. There's blood. Yeah, look at it. It's all dripping blood everywhere.
But it was packed with men's clothing. It gave the impression that Ash was preparing to leave. I went to the master bathroom, and you could tell that there was white patterns from the countertops, and there was bloody clothing that led me to believe that he had actually changed clothes prior to medical and officers' arrival.
We're clearing the residence right now.
I went to the downstairs laundry room, and I saw that there was apparent blood on the washing machine itself. I opened up the washing machine, and I find sheets that had been washed. The sheets were the same color as the sheets that were on the bed. So it gave the impression that he had taken the time to not only change clothes, but removed some of the bedding, put it into the washing machine in an attempt to try to clean up the crime itself. We talk about him being delusional because of the mushrooms and his use of the mushrooms, but one of the things that stood out is, you know, how delusional were you?
Right now, you're not under arrest. You're just being detained until we figure out what's going on. Okay? Do you see the handcuffs are on you?
Yeah.
That you're not free to leave. That means you're being
Yeah,
detained.
I told him.
Okay. So
Because you had enough time and enough wherewithal to pull the sheets off the bedding and to change your clothing. He had a lot of time on his hands before the 911 call, no doubt. And even medical personnel noted on their arrival that, hey, this didn't just happen. She's been here for a while.
She's been there a while to be rigged.
Really?
She's rigged.
How long approximate time?
It's hours, it's not like 20 minutes.
Which leads me to believe, again, how's he gonna play this? How's this gonna go?
There's still a struggle. Because he seems unconscious. I'm a little bit injured, but I'm calling for her.
I go back to most male, female homicides within the residence are typically domestic in nature. Rather than ask Ash for confirmation, he had already invoked his Miranda rights by the time I arrived, so we were no longer allowed to speak with him, and made us wonder, well, who is dead inside the house, you know?
The morning that it happened, we heard something going on the police scanners. We started hearing a lot of chatter back and forth between dispatch and the police officers. And we just heard that it was a really, really horrific crime scene, that there was like blood everywhere. And we heard that she was really beaten very, very badly. So, you know, most of the time in a domestic homicide, it's usually, well, a lot of times they just pick up a gun and shoot somebody, you know? It's kind of quick. But this, I mean, he beat her. And it was messy. And it probably took a long time for him to kill her. So all of this made it, you know, just a really fascinating story.
Good afternoon, I'm Lieutenant Ray Spencer. I'm the homicide lieutenant with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I'm out here this afternoon to brief you on a homicide investigation that we are conducting in the southwest part of the valley. I stress the details that I'm sharing right now are extremely preliminary, but at around 10:20 this morning, we received a 911 call reporting that a female was unresponsive inside the residence about 100 yards behind me. Officers and medical personnel arrived on scene, and that female was pronounced deceased. The male boyfriend who lives in the residence, who is an Asian male in his late 30s, was taken into custody. We believe there was a struggle or a battery of some sort, but this, again, was very, very preliminary, and that's from the initial walkthrough of the scene. So with that, I will take a couple questions, but I stress I don't have much more to share than that. We have not identified the female. She appears to be she's a white female, appears to be early 30s, would be my best guess.
And what's her status? I mean, she was hospitalized, or is she?
No, she's deceased inside the
So
residence.
there's two, so there's male and a female?
Yes, we have a male in custody, and then we have the female who's was found unresponsive and deceased. All right, thank you, guys.
Within an hour of the police arriving at the scene that day, they held a preliminary press conference. What was unusual about this was the fact that they were so specific. You know, they referred to Ash as the boyfriend. And, you know, most of the time in this situation, they will say that they're not sure of what the relationship is between the parties involved. It seems like, you know, they jumped to conclusions.
I was like shocked to hear that Ash had done that for sure. And again, because he was pushed off as the spiritual person and whatnot.
God damn. Really? Ah, a second. I was angry.
When the murder happened, I was gone. I separated myself from this world. What I didn't like, and one of the main reasons why I'm here today, is everybody messaging me saying, sorry about your friend. And then fans of the show I don't even know messaging me saying that they're so sorry and they're sending him money. They're sending a murderer money to teach what lesson?
I was on set shooting a comedy game show, and one of our camera guys on that show had also been on Gigolos and remained in touch with everybody. And he came up to me and showed me a text saying, Ash was arrested for murder. And he's like, did you hear about this? I'm like, what? How is this possible? That can't be right. It was like a headline, and there were not many details. And I was like, that can't be true. People are always trying to talk shit about these guys. There's no way that's true.
So I'm at home, and I get a text from Jay. Ash killed somebody. And I don't know what to think. Obviously, those words are pretty clear. There's not a lot of interpretation that needs to happen. I text Jay, he's on set. He doesn't respond right away. And I start doing some searches online, like what the heck's going on?
Okay, so my name is Atalia Cash. Everyone calls me Tucci. So me and Ash dated for like almost 3 years. So when I got the news of Ash murdering someone, I was just like, no way. Like that's not Ash. I thought it was fake. Like I literally was like, no way, Ash would never do that. And like people even told me like, you dodged a bullet. I'm like, no, because Ash would never do that to me. I was like, I know he wouldn't do that to me. Like, yeah. So I think it's like shocking, like, you know, we all know Ash as the healing sweet guy, and then to killing someone, you know, you just like question yourself, like, am I a good judge of character, you know, or not? So Johnny, my fiance, him, and Ash, they were good friends.
Ash and I, we first met, I'm almost 100% positive. It was at a nightclub, I think. And we instantly became friends. Ash had great energy, you know, and I'm a very fun, outgoing person, so he just loved it.
Hey, Ash. Stand up, bro.
Sick, right?
Yeah, it's a nice place.
I knew Ash for at least 3 years. Yeah, and from the time that I met him, we were together almost every day. So we were really close. As soon as I heard about it, my mind, I literally, like, everything froze. It wasn't real. It didn't seem real. And I'm sitting there trying to put myself in his shoes. Like, did the chick maybe try to attack him? Like, maybe she tripped out first, and then he was defending himself or something. Like, it made zero sense.
When I found out that Ash had made the 911 call, I thought, oh, great, good. Clearly, he didn't do it. There's something else at play here. Somebody else, he must have stumbled on something. Whatever there was going to be confusion for a while, and then it was going to be sorted. And you would find out that it wasn't Ash that had done this. We have no idea who the victim is, what the circumstances were. It's just, boom, Ash.
While we're there processing the scene, we were advised by patrol that there was a potential associate of Ash's on scene, a guy by the name of Sean. It wasn't until Sean showed up on scene and provided an interview with homicide detectives that he explained who he was and who Ash was, and how they were part of the reality series Gigolos on Showtime. And his statement, I believe, was, this is gonna be a mess.
This is Detective O. Deeds. I am speaking with Sean Alexander, and you're okay if I record this conversation?
Yes, correct.
Do you know what he does for work?
Yeah, well, we were escorts for a long time. We were on Gigolos for a long time, him and I both. You've heard of the show, right?
No, I'm not actually familiar. What is it?
Gigolos on Showtime.
What's the show about?
Escorts for women, kind of male guys. It's Hollywood, though. Jeff, you're really gonna hit the fucking shit fan.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that shock value. I mean, you just arrested a guy who was involved in a popular reality series. So it wasn't shocking, per se, to see the attention that the arrest of Ash gained, you know, in local media and, you know, around the country and TMZ and whatnot. You know, it was kind of expected once I realized who he was and his role in the show and the following that he had of women. I expected the media to be interested in and want to follow his case.
Is FD downstairs?
No, is there downstairs?
Yeah. Okay, I'll go clear downstairs.
There was a downstairs bedroom in the basement. At one point in time, had been occupied by Sean, his co-castmate, if you will, on the show Gigolos. They lived together within that residence.
I haven't lived here really since end of March. His girlfriend, all I know is Tia. That's all I know is her. I don't know her last name. Tia, I look on Instagram.
Okay, so you moved out and then
Yeah,
Tia moved in.
Can
you see if you have Tia's Instagram real quick?
Tia was suspected to be Ash's girlfriend at the time, and who officers and those responding believed to be the decedent inside the house at the time.
The police had a press conference that was televised, and in this press conference, they said that Ash had killed his girlfriend.
The male boyfriend who lives in the residence, who is an Asian male in his late 30s, was taken into custody.
At the time, I knew that Ash was dating a sex influencer named Tia Evans.
So Ash only dated girls in the industry, like other models or other porn stars, and Tia was in the industry.
So then where was Tia staying after they had their little split?
As far as I know, downstairs.
Knowing Ash since 2012, what do you think could have happened that would have resulted in Tia being dead?
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
So
I don't even see animals. Are you sure it's even like what do we know for sure? I mean, I don't even know.
So if Ash didn't kill her, who would?
I have no idea. That's not everything you want to know. I'm sorry, I can't help more. I don't know what's even going on either.
Would any of your DNA be on Tia?
No. I didn't really see Tia, and that's the last time I told you when I was here.
Do you mind waiting in your truck? Let me go talk to my partners, and then I'll come back and get the DNA real quick too.
Okay, yeah, I'll wait in my truck for a minute. How long is it gonna be?
We always thought one of them would do something stupid, and the truth is they did many stupid things. We never thought one of them would be a murderer. And when we thought about anything, it was never Ash that would be the violent one.
Coming to Vegas is really one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I'm really excited about where all of this is going to lead to.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. I am talking about, baby.
My name is Whitney Wester. I am an attorney and a former prosecutor for the state of Texas. I was actually working for a big law firm here in Houston, and in March of 2020, I had decided to leave that job, and I was gonna take a few months off as kind of a break or a sabbatical, and so I thought, I'm just gonna take a road trip. I took off, and I stopped in Vegas for a few months. Ash was an acquaintance, really, that I had just hung out with a couple of times, once at a pool party. I think there had been a dinner event that he was at as well. So I really just hung out with him a couple of times, but had a few conversations with him, and he seemed really nice. But I knew Ash from the show Gigolos before I ever met him. So I had kind of an impression of him from the show.
Being a gigolo, for me, is just to be really present with a person. And often, you immediately connect because you're not going to play games with a person. You're just really there.
And when I met him in real life, he was actually pretty much the same, right? You don't expect that out of people that are on reality TV shows, but he was very chill, very calm, very respectful.
She had sort of taken off time from work to find herself and enjoy life and, eat, pray, love it as best she could. And she was hanging out with Ash.
And she finds herself smack dab in the middle of a murder investigation.
So I found out about the murder charge just from the news. I think I was actually packing, getting ready to leave Las Vegas, and it came up on the news that he had been arrested for murder.
Fox 5 update for you on a homicide arrest. We got a hold of an arrest report, and it shows Akshaya Kubiak. TMZ reports Kubiak was on season 3 of Showtime's Gigolo series.
I literally was floored. Like, I had this gut reaction where I was actually mad at myself because I was like, I am a prosecutor. I am trained to spot red flags. I'm trained to see these signs of people that have violence tendencies, and I saw none of that. And I thought, okay, this is not that I made a mistake. I didn't read this wrong. Something is wrong about this case and about him being arrested and the facts and the way that they're portraying it. One thing that I noticed is that the police actually held a press conference at about noon on the day of the homicide. Now, if you think about the 911 call came in at 10:23, the police go, EMS is on scene for a while. So it seemed to me that the reason they held that press conference as early as they did is because he was a celebrity and because they wanted him on camera during that press conference. I believe I saw this come on the news on July 17th. And then I didn't decide to go and see him in jail until the 19th. I'm not sure why I went to visit him initially, other than just thinking, you know, he's probably sitting in jail. His friends and family are worried. He can't contact them. He's gonna need a really good attorney because obviously a homicide is as serious as it gets. He was very surprised when I showed up in jail. I said, you know, I don't think I told you this, but by the way, I used to prosecute homicides. So when I saw this case come up, I thought maybe I should come down and just have a chat with you. It was literally just meant to be a 1-hour conversation where, again, I just gave him like general good advice, right? Which is don't talk about your case to anyone. And then who I could reach out to on the outside that could kind of coordinate all of the things that he was gonna need to be done, which is find an attorney, get him phone numbers, and that sort of thing. He told me to go find his friend Bradley from the show Gigolos. So right after I left that jail, I went straight to Bradley's business.
Is my man run straight?
He told me that he'd been in touch with Ash's family and they were already flying in.
I had to call the family, disclose everything to them, all of them, mom, all of them. That was me.
And then I kind of talked to him about, you know, does Ash have a savings account we can get to? Is there anybody that will help him so that he can afford to get an attorney? And Bradley tells me no. He has no money. There's nothing there.
We lost so much money trying to have girlfriends. Oh my God. You have no idea. The clients we lost, the money we've lost. He gave up 2 or 3 times. He gave up a lot of money trying to have a regular life, trying to have a girlfriend.
The most money he's made probably in his life was during the time of the Gigolos, which I don't know where that went because I supported him. He lived in my house rent-free. Even when he was making money, I don't know what he was doing with his money. So I never understood it. I'm like, where did your money go?
So when Tucci was asked if, you know, she would help contribute to pay for an attorney, she just wasn't very sympathetic to the situation at all, and actually ended up asking us not to call her back.
I don't know what else to really say about that.
It's shocking to me that he didn't have some sort of savings account, because when you kind of look at his profile in hindsight, right? Like, I think he was charging $3,000 for an overnight visit. I would assume that he would have some money stored up somewhere.
You don't have 10 grand to your name if shit hits the fan. That's how everybody lives out here. They're all just phonies trying to prove themselves on Instagram to people they don't even fucking know. Did you get all that?
I felt the need to at least be involved in the case to the point where I thought that he was gonna get a fair chance.
I know there was a female named Whitney from Texas who represented herself as an attorney. And I guess this was kind of my first eye-opening experience about Ash, you know. But she started showing up to his initial court appearances and was willing to provide or assist in the representation or his defense. But that's when I first realized the impact that he had on these women that were willing to come out of the woodwork to support him and help him in any way they could, you know.
The more that I got involved with this case and the more that I learned about it, it just did not sit right with me at all. Ash's house was actually released within 12 or so hours of the police being called to that house. To me, that is insane. That's not a thorough investigation by any means.
Oh, yeah, less than 24 hours, probably more like 12 hours later. I don't remember the exact time, but ultimately, we were done.
I'm not a cop. It's not my job to go investigate, but it sure feels like the people whose job it is to investigate did not fully go there. I think they were like, oh, he called 911, he's got blood on his hands, he was on a TV about hookers, this is our guy.
And the police certainly were happy for that to be the story that they were telling. I think, sure, we could talk all about the rush to judgment. We could talk all about prejudices and whether, you know, the police have something out against sex workers.
I feel we live in a pretty oppressive society, and for me, that's the most exciting thing, is to always put yourself in new situations where you can keep growing.
He has a well-documented history of being an escort, which is something that is generally frowned upon, even in Vegas. I do think that that would affect how a prosecutor views his case. So I met with Ash's family and some additional friends. Just generally, I asked people, you know, are you surprised by this? Are there any violent tendencies in his past? Has he ever been assaultive or angry or had a temper? And every single person said no.
I am going to say a prayer before I start. I am Akshaya Kubiak's mother. I am Rita Dixit Kubiak. And if I say a little bit about myself, I would say that my entire life, for a very long time, has been about human rights and women's issues. I don't call him Ash. It's not the name I gave him. It's a stage name. And the name I gave him is Akshaya. And Akshaya means indestructible. I was in Maine, in my family home, when I heard that he's been arrested and that somebody is dead. And what first came in my mind is, was he attacked? His friends, his family, and me, we were like, this is nonsense. This is not Akshaya. This is nonsense. This is going to be thrown out. This is rubbish. This is some kind of an accident that's taken place. This is nonsense. He's just not capable. It's just not capable. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And I pretty much immediately came to Las Vegas after that. Yeah.
I know Ash's whole family, and I met his mom. She flew down from India, super sweet, like wholesome lady. But I just feel like Ash maybe didn't have his family or support team close enough because he's not strong-headed on his own.
Akshay was born in India. He came here when he was about a year old, and then we left for Japan. I see my son as somebody who is compassionate, who's empathetic, who's caring. And he's funny. He's not someone that you can put in a box. So where we are seen as unconventional is that my husband and I and his other lady, we lived together. And we raised our kids together. If that is called unconventional, then that is unconventional. But it was our life.
I grew up in a family that are spiritually conscious and they're very worldly. My dad actually has 2 partners. My father has really guided me in my beginning years of coming into my sexuality. Being raised in a household that was very spiritual, it was always about being conscious of what you're doing and being fully present in the moment.
It's not a show I've watched. I was amused. I was like, Akshaya, what next? You know, like, Akshaya. I'd say that I see my son more as a courtesan, someone who is well-read, who is respectful of women, and somebody who's just fun to be with. He is just fun to be with.
Can you tell me what's going on there?
So I lost my mind.
Something that was supposed to be a healing, quiet evening together with 2 human beings that respect each other, that care for each other, that want good things for each other, took a very sad and wrong and scary turn.
When the family talks about it, they talk about something going wrong in that night. And obviously something went wrong.
You're just trying to wrap your mind around the fact that something horrible must have happened and Ash killed his girlfriend, Tia. And that's just how it seems to be going down right now. And nobody's coming out with any other alternative story. So maybe, fuck, this is real.
Holy shit. The eyes are swollen.
I think what exactly happened, nobody is sure. Like, Ash has never fully said he knows what happened, and the police don't know what happened.
Get on the ground.
Army stairs. We obviously know what happened. He was involved in the incident and was arrested.
Gomez, take him out to your car, please.
Yeah, that's it. Case closed in the end. This murder was a pretty basic murder. I mean, there was nothing, again, it wasn't a whodunit, you know. He's a massive human being. And then you have her, a docile, naive little female who was severely beaten.
There's blood all over next to her. I mean, on the little mannequins.
And I know he's always claimed this whole self-defense thing, you know, she attacked me.
I was first attacked.
She attacked you?
Well, yeah, it started, yes.
That was the initial onset of the 911 call. Now, I'm gonna call BS on it.
You know, they were in such a hurry to put somebody in jail, and maybe there is more to the story.
Bottom line, I think the police had tunnel vision here. They went in and excluded every other piece of evidence or any other alternative that didn't support their narrative.
Did you walk up there and see if any tracking? I can't see anything obvious.
It is the greatest tragedy that the young lady is no longer. Her family has lost a very significant person in their life. Akshaya has lost a friend, but does that mean that Akshaya actually killed her?
As soon as we looked it up online, it said girlfriend beat girlfriend to death, girlfriend. I'm like, oh shit, Tia's dead.
I'm Tia, and I'm alive.
Look, for the first 24-ish hours, the police thought the wrong person had been killed. What else did they get wrong?
Hold on. Before he called the cops, Ash called Bradley and Bradley called Brace? What were they gonna do? Play detective?
It's not illegal to lie to cops. I lie to them all day. I'm good at it, apparently.
I knew that the cops were coming. I knew something bad. I mean, I didn't know if she was dead or not, but the scene was just a horror scene.
Like, what the fuck did I get myself into?